Sonic shoes have changed more times than you think, and every single redesign secretly changed the entire direction of the Sonic franchise, from the red classic sneakers from the movie upgrades into the Frontiers evolution. Each one had an impact on gameplay, lore, animation, and even what Sonic Team planned next. But which pair had the biggest impact? As today we're going to go over every major Sonic shoe design from worst to best, and the best number one spot might genuinely surprise you. Also, make sure to like and subscribe, but that's only if you like me as a person. The classic era gave us Sonic's iconic red shoes with the white stripe and gold buckle. Ever wonder why a Hedgehog wears bright red Santa-colored sneakers? Well, according to Sonic's creator Naoto Oshima, the bold design was inspired by Michael Jackson's Bad album cover, for the contrast of the white and red combined with Santa Claus's colours. In other words, those red shoes were chosen to stand out and to scream speed. Oshima thought that the red would look good when Sonic's legs are a blur, and the result? An instantly recognisable silhouette where red shoes against a blue body that set Sonic apart from other characters and even rivals Mario's brown boots, which couldn't compete with Sonic's splashy kicks. And from Sonic's debut in 1991 through the 90s, the shoe design remained pretty consistent. The in-game sprites and manual art showed smooth red shoes with a white strap, which was often depicted with the shining gold buckle on top, and those shoes weren't just for looks, but they became a part of Sonic's lore. The early Western game manuals actually claimed that Sonic shoes were the source of his super speed, calling them power sneakers. In various media, Sonic's footwear is portrayed as high-tech gear. The 90s cartoons noted that he needed his sneakers to protect his feet from friction, and otherwise even the fastest Hedgehog would burn out. One British comment of Fleetwell's Sonic the Comic went even further. It said that a scientist named Dr. Kintenbor gave Sonic speed frictionless shoes that let him break the sound barrier, turning him from brown to Sonic blue in the process. Talk about legendary shoes, they literally made Sonic who he is in that storyline. I also love in Generations how they constantly reference the power sneakers and some of the upgrades you can get from the shop. Beyond lore, the cultural impact of Sonic classic shoes was huge. Those red sneakers became synonymous with speed and the cool 90s attitude, and Sega even included a power-up item in the games called Power Sneakers, which was the nod to the idea that Sonic's shoes amplify his speed. But by the end of the classic era, think of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Sonic R, Sonic's footwear had already solidified as an icon. Appeared on lunchboxes, cartoons, and merchandise everywhere, and this is obviously where Sonic became global, as his shoes set the stage for the next evolution as Sonic prepared to leap from the 2D to 3D world. As most games were transitioning to 3D, Sonic had to move with the crowd, and his shoes was leading the way. The late 90s brought Sonic back into the 3D era, and with it became the modern redesign. In Sonic Adventure, Sonic got taller, sleeker, and gained green eyes. But what about his shoes? They still kept the classic red and white look, yet with a few modern tweaks. Sonic Team added realistic details like visible soles. Originally, Sonic's shoes had no distinct sole, just a red on the bottom, but after the events of Sonic Adventure, the Chaos Incident artwork showed his shoes was grey, textured scales and grooves. It's as if the designers said, okay, he's in 3D now, let's give those shoes some red tread. The white strap remained, though depictions of the buckle varied, and sometimes the buckle wasn't emphasized in the 3D models, but these subtle designs kept the updates of Sonic's kicks looking fresh and functional for the new millennium. More dramatically, the modern era experimented with shoe upgrades that actually changed gameplay. The pinnacle of this was Sonic Adventure 2, where Sonic swapped his usual shoes for the new Grind shoes. Sega partnered with a real-life soap shoe brand to design Sonic's shoes footwear in SA2. These soap-inspired shoes, also called 2G high-speed shoes, had special plates to let Sonic grind on rails, which obviously was introduced with grind railing in SA2, which introduced the classic grind railing mechanic. In-game, Sonic wore the soap shoes throughout the SA2 storyline, the Space Colony Arc adventure, and also became a memorable part of his look in the game, and the bright red kicks with the extra straps to a soap logo detail. Soap shoes were also brought back in Sonic Frontiers with signing up to the newsletter, and I love that Sega are finally taking attention towards the adventure era. But this was more than a cosmetic change, but it was a marriage to design and gameplay, because fans loved that Sonic's shoes weren't just iconic but also had new functions, because Classic gave him speed, and Adventure gave him rail grinding, which now obviously the modern shoe just allows him to do anyway. But the cultural significance wasn't lost either, because it had a beloved character officially rocking a real skate grinding shoe, which was a super early 2000s moment because kicks and skating and stuff like that was really rad back in the day. But yeah, it's no surprise the soap shoes are fondly remembered, and we'll see them make a comeback later on. Throughout the 2000s, Sonic's core shoe design stayed consistently red and white, but the games often gave them special roles, as in Sonic Adventure and beyond, you'd find might upgrade items like the Lightspeed shoes, which enhanced Sonic abilities, allowing Sonic to lightspeed dash across lines of rings, but these were depicted as glowing upgrades to his sneakers rather than an outright design change. But they reinforced the idea that Sonic's shoes hold much power. As in Sonic 06, there was even little side quests about Sonic's custom shoes, a shoemaker which crafted Sonic a pair that could harness gems to unlock abilities and change the appearance. And yes, Sonic had a mini fashion show before in 06, trying on different colored gems that were kinda broken but also really cool, as they were used to boost his speed, jump, and more. And it might not be the franchise's highest point, but it's a neat fact that even in-game characters acknowledge how special Sonic's footwear is. The modern era also wasn't afraid to experiment with the design for spin-offs. Sonic Riders in 2006 gave Sonic anti-gravity extreme gear sneakers for hoverboarding, looking like high-top futuristic kicks. And who can forget Sonic Boom? That spin-off universe radically restyled Sonic with a scarf and everything. Sonic's Boom version of the shoes kept the red base and added a sporty twist, the thick white straps with the sports tape around the shoes and ankles, which was definitely controversial to a lot of people, and also Knuckles taking steroids. Devs explained that the athletic tape was meant to show Sonic as a rough and tumble adventurer, which was to show that his speed was his speciality when not in vain about pristine gear. But the Boom shoes also brought back the big rectangular gold buckle on top, which was a callback to the classic style, but now the bandages have the rugged feel. Some of the fans had some very bad reactions to this and thought that the taped up shoes were odd, which completely misdemeanored Sonic's character, while others appreciated the attempt at something more realistic with the adventurer look. Love it or hate it, Sonic Boom proved that even Sonic's shoes could be reimagined for new audiences. By 2016, Sonic had two main style camps, classic with the short old school Sonic and modern with the taller and more streamlined shoes. Both were celebrated to see that within Sonic generations where classic and modern literally ran side by side, each with their own kicks. The impact of the adventure/modern era is very significant, as they didn't only update the icon for new generations, but they showed how the design tweak like the soap shoes that could introduce gameplay that became a franchise staple. Though all of the variations of the red and white sneakers did remain a symbol of Sonic's character, very fast, cool, and ready for action. But little did we know that the next big change in Sonic's shoes would not come from a game, but from Hollywood. When Sonic raced onto the big screen in 2020, his shoes nearly stole the spotlight, for better and for worse. Remember the first Sonic movie trailer? The internet sure does. Sonic's initial movie design caused an uproar. Our beloved Hedgehog looked off, with tiny eyes and oddly human teeth. And yes, his shoes were different too, and the original design put Sonic in a pair of worn generic sneakers instead of his classic cartoony kicks. The iconic white strap was gone, replaced by laces, and I feel like this was only for a promotion. But the backlash to movie Sonic was so intense that Paramount delayed the film to overhaul Sonic's look, and we obviously know that the redesign brought back the included proper shoes, which was shown within the movie's cinematics. The VFX team gave Sonic larger eyes, cartoonier proportions, and even new running sneakers that resembled the original game shoes that complete with the white brand, even they had the Puma logo as a nod to the real shoe brand. But the last thing that they changed in the redesign process was actually the shoes, fine-tuning them to get the classic vibe just right. And when the updated trailer hit, everybody went from horror to love, well, for the most part, and Sonic looked like Sonic again, red shoes and all, and it's amazing to see how Sonic, something as small as white stripes on the shoes, helped fix the character's whole redesign. Beyond visuals, the movies incorporated the shoes into Sonic's story in a touching way, as in the film, Sonic's constant running has been shredded by his old shoes to threads, and partway through the adventure, he's given a brand new pair of red Puma sneakers by JoJo, which was the little girl in the movie, as a gift. His first ever gift from a friend. And it's a heartwarming moment that nods to Sonic's lore. The fact that his scenes mirror an old 1991 promotional comic where he got his magical sneakers from Dr. Ovi Kintobor. The movie's shoes themselves blend fiction and reality. They're styled like Sonic's game shoes, but they actually are based on real Puma shoes. This product placement was no accident, as Puma launched a limited edition collab, even crafting a few ultra rare pairs of movie accurate Sonic shoes in the red and white trademark with the strap and the gold Puma tag. Only 5 pairs were made by famous sneaker craftsmen. They also released Sonic themed sneakers so fans could snag their own Sonic inspired footwear. Suddenly, Sonic's shoes were not just a costume piece in the game, but something you could wear in real life to show your fandom. The cultural impact of the movie shoes was enormous. For one, the successful design, including the faithful shoes, arguably saved the movie franchise and set the precedent for Hollywood to listen to fans. Sonic's updated shoes became instantly recognizable to a broader audience, which appeared in trailers, posters, and merchandise across the world. The public perception was highly positive once the film released, and viewers adored how Sonic's updated look paid homage to the games. The red shoes became a symbol of the filmmaker's respect for Sonic's iconic redesign. And finally, those sneakers marched Sonic to success. The movie became one of the most successful video game films out there of all time, which boosted Sonic's popularity to new heights and helped Sonic have a redemption, as noting that he was more of an important character that Sega once realized. But by the time that Sonic 2 came out, Sonic's design and shoes stayed consistent, but why mess with a good thing? We even saw that other characters had footwear like Tails' Twin Tail themed shoes and Knuckles' Lego-like climbing shoes that joined the fray. The movie era proved that Sonic's shoes are legendary both on screen and off, which bridged the gap between nostalgic design and real-world style. In 2022, Sonic Frontiers launched as a new era for Sonic games, an open world or open zone adventure game that boldly changed the gameplay. However, one thing that remained familiar was Sonic's shoes, as in Frontiers, Sonic appears to have his modern red shoes with no radical redesign this time, which grounded the new game in the character's classic look even as the environments and gameplay evolved. The shoes design in Frontiers was basically the refined modern style, red, white strap with the buckle-less sleekness, with a little bit of extra detail in the textures and lighting, which I guess was trying to pay homage to Unleashed. Sega clearly decided to keep Sonic's appearance recognizable when innovating elsewhere, but that doesn't mean that Frontiers era had no footwear whatsoever. In fact, it brought back the fan-favorite shoe style in a big way. As a nod to longtime fans, Frontiers introduced the soap grind shoes as bonus DLC. By signing up for the newsletter, everybody could unlock the Sonic Adventure 2 shoes in the game and the very same soap shoes inspired from 2001, which was revived for the new generation. Seeing modern Sonic grinding on rails in cyberspace while wearing those chunky soap shoes was pure nostalgic bliss, and the clever marketing for the fans on board, which also allowed Sega to have more people on their newsletter, which will boost game sales. This little addition did show how Sonic Frontiers acknowledges the legacy of Sonic shoes, which celebrates the past redesigns even as the franchise moves forward. It also subtly shows that Sega is recognizing the cultural impact of something as simple as shoe design, that even fans would love to run around in the Starfall Islands in the legendary grind sneakers. And they were right. Now looking ahead, Frontiers 2, or whatever the next Sonic game will be, and it's a metaphor because they're going to follow the same format, so whether it's Frontiers 2 or not will be the same thing, it's on everybody's radar, and it's time to speculate what role Sonic's shoes might play next, as after all, Sonic's footwear has evolved from a mere costume to a key gameplay device, and even a marketing tool. Given the patterns that we've seen, it's not far-fetched that the next game could introduce a new shoe-based utilized ability or design. Maybe Sonic obtains futuristic rocket shoes, or boosters that traverse him into even larger open zone areas, as there are loads of different ways to make Sonic traverse the open zones, which is an evolution of the Lightspeed shoes concept from the Adventure era, as obviously we still have the Lightspeed dash in Frontiers, but being able to innovate the way we can use it to traverse would be incredible. The open world format could include shoe upgrades or collectible power-ups, but imagine finding ancient artifacts that attach to Sonic's sneakers, granting abilities like running on water, magnetically grinding on new surfaces, or just getting around faster. But story-wise, they could weave in the narrative about Sonic's shoes, perhaps an upgrade from Tails, or even a plot point where an enemy tries to slow Sonic down by targeting his shoes, which also did happen in Sonic Boom. From a design trend perspective, Sega might stick to the iconic but give it a fresh twist for the new saga. We could see the subtle changes, styles, or new tech details added, maybe even a glowing soul when Sonic enters cyber zones, which would be really cool to show that, they're paying attention to detail, or even adaptive footwear that changes the color pattern with speed, kind of like Sonic Prime, which would show very well consistency, even though they're completely different canons. But the success of the movies might influence the games too, as perhaps Sonic's shoes in the next game will get a little bit more realistic style and detail, not quite the lace-up Pumas, but something that looks high performance. But on the marketing side, don't be surprised if there's another sneaker collaboration timed up with the next game's release. We've seen soap and Puma partnerships, so maybe Nike or Adidas could step in for Frontiers 2, or even with a special Sonic sneaker. It'll be a smart way to hype up the game, as Sonic is based on speed, but imagine a commercial where the real athletes wear Sonic branded shoes that make you as fast as a blue blur. Do I see it as lazy marketing? Absolutely not. I think it's a very cool part of Sonic's identity and able to staple fans from people who just love to be athletic, which would globalize Sonic to a point of no return. Which I'm 100% sure the movie universe made Sonic way more popular than he was when it was just the games. Something 99% confirmed though is we will be seeing some sort of exclusive shoes, as they've done this so many times in the past, but in terms of gameplay, Sonic Team has hinted that they're taking feedback and building on Frontiers' foundation for the sequel, and one piece of feedback from fans was more playable characters and customization, so it's possible that we might see customizable outfits for Sonic, including specifically his shoes, in the next game. As games like Forces already let you dress up the avatar, but I feel like it would be really cool as Frontiers 2 is supposed to be the ultimate Sonic game. So I think it would be really cool to have fun cosmetics, and shows how much Frontiers gave us from the Soap Shoes DLC, as this kind of feature would celebrate Sonic's history and please fans who love those details. And I kind of like how they've done this already with Crossworlds, where it's going to be like a multi-live year game, where whenever we don't have a game, they can always update Crossworlds. The same would be really awesome for Frontiers 2, kind of like time trials. But in terms of ranking each iteration of the way the shoes are developed, I've got to say 06 goes in S tier. I just love the way the shoes look so modern. I would say Archie Sonic probably goes in A tier. I just love how it still keeps the original design. Black Knight, I feel like goes in A as well. Boom, I'm not really a huge fan of Boom. I think I'll put it in C just to be very generous. Classic Sonic is iconic. I think he goes probably above in, in S tier. I don't know what iteration of Sonic this is, so we'll just leave this in miscellaneous. I genuinely don't know, guys. Sonic Colors, I think this is just very average. B. Sonic Adventure 1, I think we've got to put that in A, because like this is awesome. We've got obviously modern Sonic, just normal modern Sonic. This will go straight with colors in B. We've obviously got the Super Peel Out, which obviously is representative of IDW, so we will put that, I think, in A. I think it looks really awesome. Lego Sonic, I'm not too sure. I think I'm gonna have to put that in C, unfortunately. Movie Sonic, I think, goes in I would say S, because it completely changed the way that Sonic shoes have been developed. I think it just, Movie Sonic in general is such a W. The ultimate, like, different color Sonics, like, with the shoes, I don't know, this one goes in D. I'm not really too fond of that. Old Movie Sonic definitely is terrible, but that goes in E, 100%. By the way, this does not count. I would genuinely put this away. That I've never seen that before. I'm not sure what Sonic this is. I've seen it before, though. That's Sonic Schoolhouse. I know what that is. That's gonna go in D. Oh, actually no. It'll go to the top of D. I don't know what this is, so I'm not gonna answer that. I am not putting the Sonic 06. Sonic. Okay, that goes number 1. Actually, I'm kidding. That goes in D. It's the same thing as Classic, isn't it? So technically it would be the same, but it's the fact that it's Sonic EXE. I'm not huge fan of it. Sonic and the Secret Rings. I actually really do like the way the shoes look here, even if they're like their subtle differences, so I'll put that in B. I do not know what that is. I am not putting this guy. You know what? Fine, we'll put you in like B or something. You could stay with it. Sonic X? You know what? Sonic X, I think that would go in C. No, that can't go. No. That has to go first place. Oh, actually, no, it goes the back of B. Sonic Unleashed is up there. I think that will be Sonic Unleashed / Frontiers. They have very similar shoes. I don't know why Frontiers is not on here. But yeah, generally, not a huge fan of that. Not a huge fan of that. Not a huge fan of that. So that's my general tier list. If we can include Frontiers, that would be definitely somewhere here. Because if you actually look at the attention to detail on the shoes in Frontiers, they look really awesome. But I feel like the design definitely tops it to Unleashed. But I think that's a pretty accurate tier list. Let me know what you guys think. What is your favorite types of Sonic shoes? And make sure to like and subscribe only if you want to. And check out these videos here if you want to. And have an amazing day, guys. Genuinely, go and have a great day.